difficulties today. I don't know what happened. Maybe I should not have scheduled it to go live at 6 p.m. my time or noon Eastern time because it is not working. So I don't know. I think it's two people who were waiting for me, and I'm hoping you guys will just come on over here. I'm not sure what's going on. I apologize. Hello, everybody. Again, not sure what's going on. I'm checking my other phone because right now it's still saying upcoming, even though it is scheduled for the right time. It is scheduled for the right date. And I'm looking now, checking my phone now. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to have to probably delete this one because delete the other one that's scheduled. Hold on, you guys. I'm just going to tell them to join me on the channel. Give me 1 second here. And I'll wait till folks hop on. I'm sorry. Uh, gotta love technology, right? Gotta love it. Let's see. All right, all right. So I'm waiting for folks to join. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm trying to delete this other one because I don't want folks confused, right? This is crazy because right now it's just not showing. I should have known it was the issue because I was trying to upload a thumbnail. It wasn't uploading the right thumbnail. I'm like, what's going on? That was my cue that things probably were not going to be right. Let's see. Who all is here? Who all is here? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I see two people have joined me. Hello. I'm waiting for a few more folks to come on. Please come on in, tell say hello. I'm trying to do a couple things at one time. I'm trying to delete the other live upcoming thing because it keeps saying it's waiting and it keeps saying it's upcoming, and it is now 7 minutes past the start time and I had scheduled it for 7 minutes ago. So I'm not sure what's going on, but we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. Let's see. Hey Rashida, hey girl. How are you? I'm excited that you are planning on you're coming to Barcelona. You're doing your European tour. I hope I'm not telling too much information, but this is, a community. I know you said it in a YouTube comment before in the video. So I'm excited for you. Congratulations. It's going to be wonderful. You're going to love it. You are going to love it. So let's see. We've got 3 people here so far. Let's what kind of questions you guys got? Or you guys just want me to get started? I can get started now. I can start talking, running my mouth. But let's talk about the move abroad process. Where are you in the process? Are you in the beginning? Are you just thinking about it? Are you just kind of kicking the can around? Are you starting to make plans? Are you trying to figure out where you want to go? Are you trying to figure out like which countries? Are you trying to figure out income? Are you trying to figure out, okay, where am I going to live? Are you trying to figure out what you're going to do with your stuff? Where are you you all in the move abroad process? Like, what are your thoughts and feelings? Is this something you're just kind of, exploring, considering? The thing about it is that, you have to crawl before you can walk. I said this last week. We've all got to crawl before we can walk, right? And everyone was, at some point, we were all beginners. And I never want to forget that feeling. I had lunch with a friend, and she was actually a Facebook friend. And I don't know how we began talking, but maybe we were in a group together. And so I knew she was planning on coming over, and she applied for her visa. And this particular friend is it's a student visa, and so she finally got the approval, got the okay, and she had questions along the way. And we met for the first time last week, right? Then went to lunch yesterday again. And one of the things she mentioned was that like I that I was like so warm and telling information and sharing information. And I'm like, I want it to be, this is how I would have liked someone to be with me. I know for me and my move abroad journey, I didn't have a whole lot of people to go to in terms of physically for questions. I was studying, Stephanie Perry, Rashida Dow. There's another person, and I can't think of her name right now. What is her name? Idalia. I think is her name. And I remember I was all on YouTube and, going over their videos. I did the Exodus Summit one year, I think in 2022. I did Exodus Summit. I was Stephanie Perry, man, I was listening to her videos every day at one point, but I didn't have anybody to actually like ask, right? Like I didn't have anybody that I can just send a message or, hey, I've got a question. So I try to provide the same type of advice that I wish that I could have gotten, a personal advice. I mean, this particular person, we didn't know each other beginning. We didn't know each other. There's been a few other people that have reached out that I've also helped with questions. And a lot of times it may be France specific, it may not be. But these are just questions that come up. Like there isn't, you know, the thing about it is moving abroad, depending upon what country you're planning to go to, there isn't like this one move abroad manual, like this is what you do, this is how you do it, right? Now, there are definitely people who have written books, and I'm also, planning that moving abroad guide. You guys have inspired me last week. You mentioned how you wanted to know more about my move abroad life and my life here in France. So I'm working on that, got the outline done. I am hoping to come out with something very soon. I will definitely want to do a pre sale. So I am kind of saying it here first, right? This is a brave step for me to even mention it, but I'm putting it out there. So putting it out there, working on the book, right? My life here in France. The other thing I'm also working on is, again, the Move Abroad Guide. Hey, MDR3A, hello. So I'm putting it out there, working on some of these digital products. It is, again, moving abroad is something that it is not, yeah, it's a lot of information that you've got to go through. And the thing is, these countries do not make it easy. France especially does not make it easy. There is so much information out there. A lot of it is incorrect, right? A lot of it is speculation. I am in so many expat Facebook groups, right? Americans in France, expats in Paris, all these different expat groups. I'm in Black expat groups, Mexico, you name it, Exodus Summit. I'm in all of these expat groups, and the questions are usually, they usually center around how do you make the move? They usually center around finances. They usually center around, making income. They usually center around how do I find a place? You'd be surprised at the questions people have. So for me, it's one of those things of where there isn't this like one-stop shop. You've got to literally comb through all this information. You're in Facebook groups. Some of the information may not even be accurate, right? People say a lot of inaccurate information. People oftentimes are not also positive. They can be very negative. And a lot of times you're hearing information from people who are typing in their living room in their home country, right? So they perhaps haven't gone anywhere yet. They are still, they have not moved abroad, but they have all this advice. And so it's one of those things. Yes, I'm not saying, you can't give advice if you haven't moved, but there is nothing like having actually made the move. Okay. There's nothing like it. So it's just one of those things of where I think on one level, the bureaucracy of any country, I don't care what it is, I think they do it on purpose. I know with France, I mean, it's crazy. The websites are not good at all of that stuff. So Rashida is asking, I'm inspired by your journey. What was it about Paris that attracted you? What was your why? Oh wow, Rashida, my why was Paris was something that I have had all it was where I'd always wanted to go. I was a teenager girl growing up in Detroit. I thought I wanted to be a fashion designer. I would have my little sketches and my designs. I was going through the pages of Vogue and Elle and Harper's Bazaar. And it was like Paris was what was talked about. And that was where I thought, even back then, like I needed to go. So I've always wanted to go to Paris, had never gotten there, right? Had done other international travel, but had never gotten to Paris. And it had always been this dream of mine to go. And so I would wear like Paris t-shirts, all of that stuff. And, my kids were young and, had some other priorities, and travel at that time wasn't quite one of them. So this is just, I kind of, as a kid, knew I wanted to come here, kind of put that dream away, focus on, kids, family, and all that good stuff. And then got to a point to where I was like, okay, let's go. I really do want to go. And so had dealt with the loss of my husband, and Paris was a place that he had always wanted to kind of take me. And we had started traveling maybe 5 years before he passed away, but because of his illnesses, he was a type 1 diabetic. He could not make the long trip to Paris, the long flight. So we would do a lot of cruising and traveling to accommodate some of the illnesses that he had, but Paris was a place that I had always wanted to go. So unfortunately, he passed away in early 2017. Going through that whole experience, being a caretaker, seeing him fighting for his life, all of that process, it just, in my mind, I was just like, I have got to travel. And he was actually my first travel inspiration. And it's funny because I was telling this story yesterday to the friend that I just mentioned, the expat friend. Initially, maybe this was like 2011, yeah, like 2011 or so, he had said that he wanted to travel. We had started businesses, moved from Detroit to Atlanta, and I don't even really tell the story a whole lot, but just, left my job in the news industry, started over. He left his job. We started over from nothing, right? It's like we sold the house in Detroit, moved to Atlanta, 3 young children, literally got rid of everything and like went for broke, came here. And hey, is it T's? Yin Yang 101. Hey, girl, hey. So, moved here, went through some challenges financially because again, left jobs, sold house, moved here. Everything we were trying to do fell through. Like the job I thought I had here fell through. The jobs, plural, I thought I had fell through here. So starting over. And when he mentioned he wanted to travel after we had started these businesses, we had gotten things together. I was just like, are you sure? I don't know. I think we should save money. I think we should do this and do that. But he really insisted that he really wanted to travel. And I was like, okay, all right. I kind of gave up that battle. And it was crazy because he was the one that was like, he wanted to see the world and he wanted to go out to these other countries and other places. And he was insistent upon it. And I am glad that I wasn't like, oh no, or whatever. I mean, you just don't know. You just don't know. So, he has always been like my travel inspiration. He was the one like urging, like, let's get the passport. I'll do everything we need to do. I'll put it together. I'll put the application together. He planned all the trips. He just was like, let's just go. And so we did a lot of trips, just me and him, and also family trips as well. So he is like in everywhere that I go, he's always been like even now, like my travel inspiration. So my why was, again, Rashida, I'm sorry, this is probably a long ass answer to your question, but just Paris had always been a place I had wanted to go. Got a chance to come here in late 2017. And as soon as I came here, I just absolutely loved it, and have been coming back ever since. T is asking, you lost, left a job, just working until I save up. What do you suggest for a 34-year single mom of 7 and 14 that is invested in moving within 2 years? Okay, great start. You have a great start. Just lost, left a job. Listen, I understand. I'm in the same category. I do understand. Let's see. So you've got a single mom, 7 and 14, moving within 2 years. Congratulations for you making that plan. I will say a lot of, I run it just, just being online and stuff. I see a lot of parents, especially sometimes single moms, who are like, well, my kids are young, I don't want to move. So congratulations to you for making that decision. If I had it to do over again, if we had it to do over again, if I could go back in time, I would definitely, in terms of beginning that travel journey earlier with my children. They have traveled, but congratulations to you, Tees. So what I would suggest is really looking in terms of whatever countries you're moving to, narrowing down that list, realizing that you probably are going to want to move to a lower cost country. So Spain is one, Portugal. I recommend France. I mean, I'm here. I can tell you for sure my expenses are anywhere from 30 to 50% less than the US. Okay. I am here without a job. Okay. In terms of I'm consulting, but you know how that process goes. So it is one of those things of where you are really able to, I'm in the same boat that you are, because I definitely had that conversation with myself. Do I go back? Right. And for me, when I'm running the numbers, the US, if I'm not going to have as much money, I'd rather have not as much money here in France than the US, because as soon as I go back home, it's an automatic hit, health insurance, all that good stuff. Look at low cost countries where your dollar, your USD is going to stretch. This is a perfect opportunity for you in terms of if you've lost your job. I don't know if you've got 401k. I don't know, what your situation looks like. But this may be that golden opportunity. I would suggest looking into online income for sure, how you can build online income that is not dependent upon your location. I came here with a tech contract into a tech job. So if you know you're going to be moving within 2 years, now is the time to kind of put that process into play, right? So you can do it. You can do it. It's possible. This may be your shining opportunity. You just never know. Sometimes we wonder, like, why did I lose this job? Why did these cuts happen? Why did this or that happen? You never know what is going to be at the end of it. Okay. So just I think for you, your immediate priority is going to be whatever country you're going to move to. You're going to have to show that you have some kind of income to support yourself. So think about it. I don't know if you're getting severance. I don't know if you've got unemployment. Whatever your situation is, sis, make it work. If you've got severance, if you got a chunk of money, okay, hey, you there are places you can go. I'm thinking in terms of countries. Mexico is one. I believe you can get a longer term visa. I think it depends, but Mexico has some pretty liberal policies, especially if you've been there in the last 5 or 6 years. I think you'll get an automatic 6-month visa. So it really just depends on where you want to go. If you do want to do some bopping around, you've got some young children, 7 and 14. Think about for the summertime, right? You got like, what is that, like 8 to 10 weeks or whatever. Maybe y'all want to do some extended travel, like make it happen. Go make sure you can get the rental. You can just making sure that you're able to kind of stretch your money. So let's see, Rashida. Yes, Dorothy and I connected. Yes, Dorothy is an incredible inspiration, and it's so crazy because I'm like, we were in the same circles in Detroit, but I did not know her. So it's so crazy. And I saw her the other day, and we were saying how it's crazy how we know the same people, just did not meet up, and we met up here in Paris. And yeah, definitely she is like the travel OG. Like honestly, like she knows Paris like the back of her hand, for sure. For those of you who are interested in Paris, just a shout out to Dorothy. Check her out. Her Instagram is called Paris Soul, Soul, Scene, Scene. Check her out on Instagram. She provides a lot of Paris content. She's been coming here for a very long time. So check her out. The quality of my of life for my kids is really what made my decision. You know what? I understand. I definitely understand. It's one of those things as your kids are at the right ages. I know for me coming here, I had made the decision to move and had kind of been like told my daughter, and she's familiar with all the move abroad process, right? In terms of she was the one that was like, you've been saying you're going to move abroad for years, but I haven't seen you do anything. And so when I finally decided to do it, I don't think she quite believed me because again, I had been talking about this for a minute, for at least for three, like 4 years. Okay. So originally I decided to make the move, and I told her because she had finished grad school, she finished undergrad, and she was going into a grad school program online, and she could be anywhere. And I was like, why don't we spend like the summer, August in Paris, to figure out, like, I want to stay. That was like my scouting trip. And I was like, I want to stay, but let's see how you like it. She came here, girl, she did not like it. She did not like Paris. So she liked Amsterdam and Belgium and London better. But this is, you know, moving abroad is one of those things for her. She was like, nah, she wanted to go remain in the US. And so the option is always there. I just told her, if you ever change your mind, come on, and that offer is always open and on the table for her. So she wasn't quite ready, and that's fine. I had to realize this was my dream and kind of what I wanted to do, and it's okay if it isn't what she wanted to do at that time. So I think she's becoming more open. I mean, she travels. She's now like an intern, getting her internship in Atlanta, her psychology internship. She is doing finishing up her grad school program. So, but it was a window in time, like that 1 year where she could be anywhere. That window of time is past, but hopefully, her seeing me out here in the world, maybe she will make a decision at some point to do the same. I don't know. But yeah, but I definitely get the quality of life. I know with my children being in Atlanta, and mine are 26, 25, and 23. I mean, just as a mom, I kind of, I just worry about them because I know what's out there. I know what's out there, something that's always going on. And like the mom in me just wants to like move all three of them, like here or just anywhere else. And granted, they have their own lives to live, they have their own careers, they're all independent. So, as much as I would love them to be somewhere else right now, they are doing their thing, and I get it. They are in their careers, they are figuring things out, they're in their 20s, right? So not everybody wants to travel, not everybody, my children love to travel, but not everybody wants to do that permanent move, right? It may not be feasible right now. Is that they're focused on the US, they just are. So it's just one of those things. The quality of life thing is something I always just worry about, just because I feel like their quality of life would be so much better elsewhere. But again, this is their journey. They have to go on it. I can't make that decision for them. I can't make that move abroad decision for them. This is something they have to do. So T is saying, yes, I definitely consider their thoughts. I'm taking a note to take them to visit a few times, then choose where. And that's important because, this is affecting their decision. This is a part of their thing too, right? They are leaving. And it depends on your children. I mean, your children, but at the same time, doing some of those extended trips might be really good for them to kind of get their feet wet to see how they like it, right? It'll be a great way for them to just kind of adjust, and you can kind of monitor how they're doing, how they're feeling. Kids are really resilient, and it depends on the kid, right? But at the same time, it's kind of like if you've seen kids who grew up with military parents and they're used to kind of moving around. Some kids are really open and receptive, some kids aren't. So it's just one of those things. You have to really see how how things will go, and give yourself some time. I would say I feel like the first year is anywhere. If you're going to do like if you're bopping around, that's one thing. And but if you're doing stationary travel, it's one of those things of where like you're finding a place and you're settling in. It's one of those things of where I feel like that first year is so much getting used to your new location. It's so much figuring things out. Maybe there's a language barrier, oftentimes cultural differences. If you're moving abroad, it's going to be cultural differences anyway. So that first year is really like you need a couple years. I'm sorry, you just do, because that first year you're trying to get used to everything. The second year is when things kind of kick in. Let's see. So your son has said no. Daughter said she was excited. Listen, that sometimes happens. Definitely sometimes happens. Hey, Jay's views. I spoke about the expat community getting together. Do the kids or teens also do things together? You know what? That's a good question, Jay, because the thing about it is that I'm not exactly sure. I know the one group I'm in, expats of color in Paris. I know that there are some people visiting, some kids visiting, teenagers visiting, and the question came up like, what can kids do? Like, what can teenagers do? Which is a whole different question, right? So, I don't know. I'm not in that space anymore, so I'm not really paying as much attention. But I do think that it's important for kids to kind of get together and do things with each other. I totally feel like when my daughter visited Paris a couple years ago, if she had had someone her age, I was trying to get that girl to bring one of her friends, okay? Bring one of your homegirls with you because I felt like she would have had a better time. So, when it comes to younger children, I think teenager, preteen, or whatever, their little friend group is going to be important, right? So, doing things with people, their peers, is going to be important. So it's a way for them to kind of not feel as alone, right? Let's see. What do I enjoy most about my journey? The main pros and cons so far, other than the legal docs moving, etc. The main thing I enjoy is my quality of life is better. So going back to your response earlier about you looking at the quality of life for your children, my quality of life is so much better here. My life is just different. Sure, I have the cultural barriers. Sure, I have the language issues, all of that good stuff. But my quality of life is better. I'm able to travel from here to other places that would be take me much longer. Food is healthier. I'm able to do all these cultural activities. I am able, just my life is so much different. I love the fact that just culturally, I went yesterday for a brunch and we were like talking at this restaurant cafe for like 4 hours. Don't nobody didn't nobody bother us. We had to go grab the waiter. I think he had left. He had left, and I think that this man had ended his shift. We had to pay for the meal, and that is how it works here. Like people leave you alone, you're able to just relax and chill out. So I love that. Love that about here. The probably the con would be the French bureaucracy. I don't, that is a headache. Just the other day, I had to submit my passport because my passport is expiring. So I had to go to the embassy and begin that process. That's the U.S. embassy, but the French are big on bureaucracy, right? So that's probably the thing that I don't like. That is definitely a con. A con is I'm just kind of now starting to make more friends outside of my expat circle. So I am culturally, it is a difference with friends here. Culturally, I think in the US we make friends a little bit easier. Here they have their trusted friend group, and it takes a lot for them to kind of let you in within that circle. And also don't forget the language barrier for me. So that is probably a con. It can get a bit lonely as an expat. You have to make like really a concerted effort. And I have tried before with people, and a lot of times it kind of falls flat sometimes. So I just, keep on trying. I have been making more so friends in my neighborhood. I met someone, she's a fashion designer and stylist, and she has lived in my neighborhood for 40 years. She knows everybody. And they're very much just French culture, like they need the introduction. So I'm like, yeah, I've been walking around here for a year, but the minute you that I met somebody else, it's like the whole kind of world opened up, right? So yeah, different culturally, very different culturally. And that's the thing, you're as an expat, your life is a little bit different. Again, the language barrier, those are definitely cons. And so I don't think we talk enough about expats and community, right? You need community. When you're moving away from what you know, you're moving away from the US, you're moving away from your family, you're moving away from your support base. You need community. It's really important, and we do not talk about that enough as expats. I think that we talk about, oh, I'm at this French cafe, I love it, I'm eating my croissant, drinking champagne. Yeah, and I get it, but there's the other side where if you're not careful, it can be very lonely and isolating. So is there a community board you have? Let's see, a community board. I'm not sure what you're referring to by that. Let me know. In my travels, hey, yes, learn French. It will open all the doors. You're right, because my friend Monica, the fashion designer and stylist, she's just like, you've been here how long and you don't speak French? So we go through like French stuff all the time now. Like she every day. We don't see each other every day, but I'm usually either WhatsApping her or kind of talking with her quite a bit. But when I see her in person, she's like, no, speak French, speak French. So, yep. So yeah, you're right. In my travels, having French is definitely the door opener. And I get it. I get it. You think about it, I am not from here, don't speak the language. A lot of them, of course, know English, but again, they're looking at me like, you moved here. So get it together. Yes. Oh, the American church. You know what? Oh my God. Thank you for that suggestion. I remember I was going to go to them on Thanksgiving one year, and I ended up not going. I think the Thanksgiving dinner sold out. So I need to go to that church. I will definitely go. Jobs, housing, and teachers. Listen, I'm hitting that this week. Thank you for that suggestion. But tease, let me know. Send me a message. I'm not sure exactly what you meant, or just by community board. Can you be more specific about what you mean by that? I want to answer your question. I'm sorry. But no, in my travels, thank you so much for that suggestion. Thank you so much. But yeah, so y'all, so just what other questions do you have about? I'm trying to get my microphone here together. What other questions do you have about moving abroad, about what my life looks like here, about how you can move abroad? And this is a shameless plug for my services. If you are looking at, I've got 100 plus videos on this YouTube channel filled with information. But if you need a little bit more specific info, if you need more custom advice, if you need just an hour of just kind of run things by what you're planning on doing, click the link in the description of this video. You can book a call with me. I can kind of walk you through the move abroad process and kind of, hold your hand a little bit in terms of what I found to be helpful. No matter where you are in this, no matter where you are in the staging, okay, the planning, whether you're gonna go for sure, whether you're not sure. Sometimes you need like that roadmap, right, of expert advice. So click on the link in the description of this video, schedule a time, and we'll talk. Let's see. Tease, yeah, the journey and how to position ourselves better so it's a smooth transition. Listen, transition is everything. It is indeed everything. And it is indeed a transition. Like, don't let nobody tell you. If you see, on this channel, I try to keep it really all the way real with y'all. I mean, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? And so a lot of times I think that you see these folks on Instagram and you see them on TikTok, and yeah, you only see the good side of moving abroad. You do not see the stress that comes in with the visa. You do not see the stress that may come in if you lose a job or contract or employment. You do not see the stress that comes in terms of the bureaucracy of your respective country. The bureaucracy is not limited to just France, because Portugal has a lot too. Every other country that I've seen, like all of them have this bureaucracy in terms of you may just totally be in this country, You may not have gotten your visa renewal. You may be waiting for it. You may just, it's so much that goes into it. Okay. So I try to keep it all the way real here in terms of letting folks know that there can be some hiccups, right? There may not, it may not always be totally smooth sailing. And again, we're outside of the US. A lot of times we have this tendency to think that things are supposed to go like they would back home, and baby, they don't. Honey, they don't. Nothing is like back home. Customer service, let me tell you something. Here it's just like, I feel like they tell you no first. They make it their life to tell you no. So you're dealing with that. You're dealing with cultural differences. The customer is not always right here. You know, yeah, nobody in my travels, yes, the US as well. And you're right. We as US citizens don't realize it because we are US citizens, right? Nobody just walks. Yes, it has made me, man, the immigrant experience, because I'm an immigrant, whether I call myself an expat, whatever I may call it, this is not my native country, right? And yeah, I'm not native. I'm a visitor here. I have my 1 year visa, but yeah, it there are some hoops to jump through. And so sometimes, our extent of complaining will be like, we'll complain about going to the, Department of Motor Vehicles or whatever. But baby, when you got to do all those things in another language, it gives you just a whole, this gives you a whole different perspective just on life, and really a new, to me, a newfound respect. It gives me a newfound respect for people who move to another country, who working, rebuilding their life, newfound respect, honestly. It's not always easy. It really isn't. I don't care what country you are immigrating to, it is not always easy. So but yeah, what else? What else? What else can I help you guys with? What else do you want to know? It is, like I said, it's definitely a transition that, is to be expected. It is, we need to normalize that. It's going to be a transition. That first year is all about learning. It is all about learning and finding your footing. Transitioning from living perhaps like a tourist to living like a resident. That is a transition. Okay, so dating in France, let's talk about it. Well, I mean, listen, I think for me, dating in France, when I first came here, I my eyes were opened and I was like, okay. Um, I came from Atlanta, right? I'm a Detroit native. Lived in Atlanta for, how long did I live in Atlanta? Like 16 years. And for widowed since 2017. So total different, total different thing, right? Dating in Atlanta, dating in just in general. But I find my dating quality of life here, man, I was amazed. Like, honestly, it's why I kept coming back, because, you know, there's a whole thing of men here tend to definitely like Black American women. You got to be careful because there can be some fetishizing going on with that. But in general, the dating scene here is awesome. It's good. It's good. No matter what you particularly want, it's here. There's an appreciation for us. I don't feel like it's that all the time happens in the US, for a variety of reasons. But yeah, my dating life here was much better than in Atlanta. Now, I had a lot of fun in Atlanta. Atlanta is a great place if you want to have fun, okay? But now if you want something more serious, that's where the problem's gonna come in. But I just feel like dating here is a little different. It's a little bit more intentional, although I do feel like they are becoming a little bit more tenderized and hinged and bumbled, kind of a thing. The same thing that perhaps goes on in the dating culture in the US is starting, I feel like starting to happen here, just among like my friend group here. But for me, I, came here, dated, had a great time. Like, I think I came, listen, when I first came here, I had just, my friends, two of my friends had helped me start my Tinder profile because they were like, girl, we gonna help you out here. I didn't know what I was doing. I was, I had been married for 21 years. I didn't know what single life was like at all. So they helped me set my dating profile, and I came out here and that thing was on and popping. The first time I came out here, I had so many dates. I think I had like 3 dates in one day. It was like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, I was moving them, moving them, moving them. But that was a long time ago though to me. Okay, so yeah, online dating never again for me. It was the most convenient way to do it, and it is, girl, it is a job. It is a full-time job. Okay, part-time, for sure. But no, what how I did it was, it was kind of like I put the profile up, right? Folks, were interested. And it was great because it was like, show me the city. And that's what they did. Like, I met an amazing gentleman. Like, yeah, I just definitely showed me the city, showed me a different side of the city. Hey, Mean Dean, showed me a different side of Paris. It helped me definitely kind of fall in love with it because it, again, I didn't get the tour. I got some of the tourists, but I got the real Paris. And so I kept coming back. I kept coming back for a certain person too, I will admit. And then I met my current partner here. I was here at a Kizomba festival. I'm a Kizomba dancer. Kizomba is an Angolan dance, and so it's done in the U.S., but it originates in Angola. It's really popular here in Europe, and it's not Zumba. It's Kizomba, Kizomba. And yeah, Rashida, girl, European dudes be moving fast. Let me tell you something. Yeah. Oh, he wanted to be. Listen, you say calm down. Listen, they move fast. They know what they want and they go for it. So that tends to happen. You go on one date. If you go on 2 dates, that's your man. Okay. Although again, they're getting a little bit more quote unquote Americanized. Okay, but they know what they want. They will ask you, yes, you will be in a relationship after 2 days. That's your man. That's your man for real. So yeah, that they move differently. I think that we tend to be more cautious and more careful and more like, no, I need to see how you act. No, I need to, do XYZ. And they don't do that. They don't do that. Oh, thank you, Mean Dean. Thank you for that compliment. They don't do that here. So, like I said, I came here, met my guy, and we matched on Tinder, and then we did not meet because I had left. We matched on Tinder, had not talked. We didn't talk until like my last day here. And so I think I was like on my way to the airport. And I had a trip planned again back to Paris in November. And so we met physically then. But from that time that we kind of matched, we began talking. So it is very interesting. Definitely. It's interesting. I always say that the dating scene, I feel like, is better here. Is it Bria or Brea? Do I recommend apps? I recommend apps if you want it to be a little bit easier. I mean, it's going to be easier, especially if you're here traveling and visiting. Apps is going to be the way to go. You know, quickly meet for lunch. You can meet for coffee, whatever. That's typically how they do it in terms of it's nothing to meet for a drink. And you see where it goes. Maybe you like them, maybe you don't. Check it off the list, go down to the next one, do whatever. So yeah. Do I recommend apps? I definitely, like I said, definitely recommend apps. Speaking French, for me, I'm learning. It is a process. Yeah, I'm learning. I'm definitely a beginner still. So I am not fluent at all. But far as dating, if dating is something that you want to do, like if you're traveling here, it makes it more convenient, the apps. And I get the app thing. I get it. People hate it. I get it. But it may be a different experience here versus somewhere else, like versus back home. Oh, thank you, Tease. Thank you. Thank you. That's what this community is for. I want it to be a place where we're getting together talking. about like real life stuff about moving abroad, what that looks like. Like I said, the good, bad, and ugly. I thought that dating would be a great topic because I think, like I said, for me, I knew my dating life here, my dating life in Atlanta, it just those are two totally different parallels. So yeah, there are men here who they love black women, and you, depending upon where you are in Europe, right, depending upon what it is that you like, okay, there are Caucasian men, men of European ancestry, there are, man, African men, they are everywhere, okay? So the rainbow is here. The rainbow is definitely here. Just depends on what you want and what you like. It's available. So I'm just putting it out there, okay? I'm just putting it out there. All I know is that there are definitely people who have had better dating experiences here versus in the US. Now that depends on where you come from, right? It depends on where you are. I was watching a TikTok and the LA girlies were talking about how they just don't get no love. Like black girls, black women, no love in Cali. I don't know what the whole experience is like. I literally went from Detroit, where I was married, right, black city, to Atlanta, another black city, widowed. So now I'm thrust into the single lifestyle. I don't know what it's like to like, I mean, I just don't know what that's like. Like, and I had dated around the country. I got DC, DMV, whatever. I don't know what the LA thing is like. I don't know what, in terms of what that lifestyle is like. If you are in a place to where you may be somewhere for your career, but you hate being there, you don't like the dating pool where you are. I'm not trying to tell you to come just for men because I don't think that needs to be the case. But no matter where you're going to move abroad, if you are a single woman dating and you plan to date, if you are a single woman and you are looking to date, if you are looking to perhaps get married, if you're looking for your boo, you're looking for your companion, whatever it is you're looking for, dating has to be a part of that move abroad process. Meaning, where are you moving to? What is the dating scene like? If you plan on actively dating, now if you're not, okay, you might be good. But if you are planning on actively dating, I know I would be looking, that would be not the only factor, it would be a factor. Okay, let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. Okay. Uh okay, never been in a relationship at 34, and dating is harder than, listen, dating is, yeah, man, it's part-time job for sure. It is harder than your, yeah, definitely harder than a career. Definitely, I can see that. Can see that. Bria, oh, you're from DC but live in LA now. Oh, went to Paris 10 years ago. Career sabbatical, congratulations. Oh, Mexico City, yes. I've heard great things about Mexico City. Great things. Looking to travel to France again this year. Listen, let me know if you come through Paris. Let me know. We'll get a cup of coffee together. Let me know. Um, T is saying I'm healed and not moving for relationships. Want to work on my career as well as outside USA as well. Listen, I totally understand. We're all in different steps and different phases of the dating process. I get it. I get it. You have to do what's best for you. You got to do what's best for you. But all I'm saying is, if you do come this way, just know that some opportunities may arise. Okay. Yes, we are, Bria. We are, listen, traveling and living our best life. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I mean, not just me, but everyone that's here, I feel like. Black American women that that we're in the same circles, we're talking, we're just, it is, and even just people visiting. Like I run into just so many Americans visiting, and I just want us to come out here. I just want, I mean, not France specifically. I want us to just be out here, wherever that is, whether it's Mexico, whether it's Portugal. Lisbon has a great expat community. Like I was there about a year ago. Actually, yeah, a year to the day. I was, this time last year, I was outside of Lisbon, and they have a great expat community. They really do. So I just want, like, we've gone through so much, right? We have lived that life. We have gone through so much. I just want for my sisters to be out here living and experiencing life and doing some different things, traveling, putting us first, because there is a tendency for us not to do that. Okay? There is a tendency for us to say, I'm going to wait. I'm going to, wait until the kids are done with school, or I'm going to wait until this. It's never a good time. It'll never be a perfect time. Not ever. So I just want us to be out here moving around, enjoying ourselves. If anybody on this planet deserves it, Black women do. And I will always say that. Like, we have gone through enough hell, heartache, and all of that good stuff, or bad stuff. We deserve all the good things that can happen. And that comes with putting yourself first. I realize that not everyone can move abroad. Maybe it is just traveling more extensively. Maybe it is making sure you get your trips in, sis, making sure that you take your time for you on solo trips, family trips, whatever it is, right? So it's making sure you can do whatever you can do, when you can do it. Let's see. Bria, your aunt moved to Germany 25 years ago. Everyone thought she was crazy, but listen, soft life. She was on it. Your aunt knew something. Your aunt definitely, listen, she knew. And I guarantee you, 25 years ago, people probably thought that she was like, what are you doing? But she was on it. I think that when you go somewhere else and you spend time extensively there, you realize how life doesn't have to be the way it is, that life can be different, life can be better, right? Yes, I miss my homegirls back home. Yes, I miss, my mom. I miss my children. I miss, food back home. I miss certain experiences. But for me, at this stage, for right now, I'm totally doing the one continent here, going, US to France, because it is about, for me, realizing that life is different, and living here is just, for me, it's just better. I'll be honest with you, it's better. I don't have the same worries. The crime rate is so totally different, and it's crazy because, like, my sister called me and she was like, girl, I guess it was a prisoner who escaped violently, like a drug cartel guy or whatever, in Paris or something. And she texted me like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "What's going on?" And it's crazy because sometimes in the U.S., like, y'all will know about news before me, and I'm right here. And so she was like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" And I guess two people were unalived with that whole process. I don't know where they're at with it. I didn't even begin to look it up. But I do know that for the most part, things are relatively quiet. Things just, it's not the same. Like, it's not the level of just, I'm literally will be walking down the street, and I'm always practicing personal safety, okay? But for the most part, I go from my train stop, which is half a block away, to my apartment, and I don't have the same level of fear. I don't have the same level of worry. I know in Atlanta, I will not be walking down nobody's street by myself, okay? That's just me. So, am I saying things happen here? Things do happen. Things happen everywhere. But I don't automatically have that same level of just fear and violence and all that stuff. Like, it's not the same. It doesn't happen here. So, things are different. Things are safer. I feel safer. When I hear firecrackers going off, I know it's a firecracker. It's not a weapon. It's not someone doing a mass shooting. It's not someone, sure, there are definitely incidents. There have been some people getting knifed up. I will not say that it doesn't happen. Hey, Sonia and Sebastian's adventures, I'm sorry. But, there's violence everywhere, but the level is so totally different, and has been, my stress levels when I go back to the US just automatically go up, because I'm never sure like, you always have to be ready. You always got to be ready, and you have to be ready for, you don't know what. And so I don't have that same level of worry here. So again, not saying things don't happen, Not saying things, there isn't crime and all that good stuff. But for me, I looked at it specifically like, okay, I done moved from Detroit to Atlanta. Me, myself personally, I'm like, I'm not moving to an area where crime is going to be worse than what I came from. Definitely not. Oh, listen, Sonia, I get it because crying. Yeah, listen, when I go to the airport, I feel the energy shift and I'm just like, do I have to do this? Like the energy changes as soon as I get to the airport. Like it just does. I get it. If you are feeling that way, because I know for me, I was traveling here so much, going back and forth, and I would feel like I would be in the US missing Paris. And pay attention to that feeling because I promise you that is part of what propelled me to like, listen, I gotta make this move. Like I am happier somewhere else. I'm happier. I just wish my family would come here. Like listen, if my family would come here, I only go back to the U.S. for my family. Like I only go back to the U.S. to visit my children and my mama. Okay, so but I totally get it because once you start, you've experienced it. Once you get out here in the world, you see how things are how people are moving, how different it is, how there is better out there. How the U.S. isn't the only. I'm not gonna get into that conversation, but we like to think that the U.S. is number one in everything, and I'm sorry, it's just not. It's not. It's not. It's just not. So I definitely get it. I had been on the plane boohooing before. I totally get it. Summer of 25. Yes. Okay. The permanent move to Poland. Okay. All right. Love to hear it. Congratulations to you. I'm really happy for you. Congratulations. So, yeah, Sonia, wishing your family would come as well, but they're not, and it's okay. And that's kind of what I had to do. Like, okay, that y'all not coming, and that's okay, right? My daughter, who I thought would come, is not coming, and that's okay. Trying to get my other kids to visit, and again, they're doing their things in their careers. They're traveling for work and doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, I just want y'all to come visit. My one daughter has traveled but to Europe, but she's not come to Paris. So my son has not come to Europe yet. So I'm just like, I just want y'all to come. And I feel like once they come, it'll kind of sink in a little bit. They need to experience it. You can only tell somebody so much. So much. Sonia, yeah. And is it Sonia or Sonia? I'm sorry. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Quality of life in Europe is so much better. Yes. And that's the thing that I did not realize. I was watching a content creator and she's in Italy and she was saying how I think she's originally from California, and how she would be at home and she had all these gut issues, all these stomach problems, and she would do the organic thing and she was on probiotics and she was doing all this and all that. She would go out to eat and would get sick all the time. And when she moved to Italy, the quality of life, the food is better, right? She doesn't have to do all the buying organic stuff, the doctor's visits. The food is literally making us sick. And so I can totally relate to that. The portions are here are much smaller. It is a lot. Des B1, hey Des. Let's see. Do I have a pension in the US and I have to transfer it to France? If so, how is that process? Okay, so I do have a pension. I'm about I'm 12 years away from early retirement, and I have a couple of pensions. I have a pension through when I was in the newspaper industry, and I have a pension when I used to work for a large insurance company. And so, though, and again, Social Security, I guess, will kick in at either 62 or I guess 67. So they do not transfer over. The US is the US and France is France. So what'll happen is essentially I maintain all my bank accounts, US bank accounts. I kept my phone. There are some people who just want to get rid of everything within the US. I don't suggest that because I'm able to use the power of USD, the added benefit of USD here. And again, my expenses are much lower. So I don't, I'm looking forward to being one day being able to get that, God willing, that retirement income, because that what that does is it makes getting your visa so much easier. You have monthly guarantee income, so it is a whole different story. It isn't a thing of you having to qualify and all this and all that. Just on most social security income, for the most part, if you've worked, what is it, 40 quarters or something like that to qualify for social security, you for the most part, depending upon your wages and your earnings, especially if you've got a social security and some kind of pension, you're able to you more than enough qualify. I think I may have mentioned in the last live that you've got for a visa here, you need to have income of about 1,400 euro per month. Like, you have to make more than the minimum wage employee here in France per month. So it's about 14 to 1,700, about 1,700 or so USD. So it is, think about that. That's not a whole lot of money, right? In terms of, it's not a lot of money, honestly. So it would not, you'd have a hard time living on that in the US. Just put it like that. And so for me, I also have a 401k. So all of that stuff is going to be all of my income. US does worldwide income. So any money that you make anywhere in the world must be reported. US and France have a treaty, and I won't be double taxed, right? So in terms of my earnings, it'll only be taxed once, not twice. Those are things you have to look at when you're, whatever country you're trying to move abroad to. Okay, you have to do those numbers. I know that inheritance wise it's a little bit different. So again, I'm US employer, not a French employer. So if I were to just, like, let's just say, go out and get married and buy a property, there's some weird funky rules here in France. So those are things that always, you have to always kind of think about and know about, because once you do start doing stuff here, their rules apply, right? So as long as I keep my US bank accounts, US phone number, US stuff, I'm good. But the minute I start doing too much here, things change. So you have to make that decision, right? Um, Sonia, as a chef and a food educator, the only place in the world to get really horrible flour. Oh, yeah, like that's the thing. Like, even just, I can remember coming here, eating baguettes and croissants, and going back to the US and trying to get that same thing here, there. It never worked out ever, because the flour, just everything is just trash, just different. Des, thank you. I'm glad you got value from last week. Hey, Amor, how are you? Um, in my travels, yeah, 1,400 euros a month in Paris would say, yeah, 1,400 euros is like, yeah, like you said, minimum wage is hard. And I don't think people talk about that enough too. There are people who live on the edge here. That is not enough to really live on, not a good quality of life here. 2,500 to 3,000 euros for Paris. Rent is no joke. You are indeed right about that. Rent is no joke. Now, I'm going to do a video later on this week. I just got some information, and it's from a French agency, and they're comparing like US and to like LA, New York, San Fran, and some other cities to Paris, and the comparisons are wild. Meaning, basically the things I've been talking about. You just have so much more money here. Even with the crazy amounts of rent here, when you look at healthcare, when you look at food costs, they again looked at Paris, and they're specifically targeting, like, Paris, you will have more money. And they broke those numbers out, and I'm like, man, this is crazy, but it's totally, totally true. I think people do here live here on very small amounts of money. In some cases, I mean, I don't think that that minimum amount is enough to really make it. But at the same time, I I look at it and say, because I mean, I don't think that's enough to make it in the US either. Like, I don't think that amount of money is enough to make it really anywhere. But yeah, 2,500 to 3,000 euros, when you think about it, people are, all the stress and financial pressures going on in the US right now. Six figures are not six figuring, okay? People are having to work multiple jobs, families, being a sole income, one income earner household is becoming rarer. Inflation is crazy. It is, for me, it's like if I have to make less, if I'm making less money, where can I make less money and it be a little bit better? For me, it's going to be here as opposed to the US. Because I've definitely had that conversation in my head, especially with me, in terms of going from full time to a consultant income, which can be, freelance can not all the time be as much stable or whatever. Yeah, for me, was the way to go. Bria, how much is rent in Paris on average? It's kind of hard for me to say on average. It depends on where you are. If you are in Paris, you're going to pay more. If you're outside of Paris, you're going to pay a lot less. If you are outside of Paris in another city, you're going to pay probably a whole lot less. I have seen, let's say Champagne region, I've seen rent of 350, 300 to 350 a month. But again, you are outside of Paris. In terms of what's average or normal, I'm going to say anywhere from like 800 to about 1200 is probably average. If I can say average, I've seen those prices on some of the rental websites and stuff. So, but again, it depends on where you are, how much space you want. You can get a studio. Now, if you're trying to get a similar to what you have in the US, that's where it's going to cost you. But for a basic place to stay, I feel like it is going to be under the average price of an apartment in Atlanta. The average price of I want to say, I can't remember if it's a one bedroom or two, but at one point, the price of a one bedroom apartment in Atlanta, it was around about 1900. Now, I don't know if that was in Midtown or Buckhead. I don't know where that was. You can live here in Paris for under that amount. So, and that's just Atlanta. New York, I don't even want to think about New York, how much it costs there. Um, Atlanta usually is falling probably right under Houston or right under like Dallas. LA is crazy and crazy expensive. So for me, you can live a little bit under that average Atlanta price. I'm looking at it from Atlanta perspective because that's where I kind of came from. So yeah, the math. Okay, so a one bedroom is 1600 to 3000. Wow. Yeah, you can definitely find for that price, you can find let's just say 1600, Bria. You can find probably can find like a 2 to 3 bedroom, depending upon where you're looking for that price. I don't know about three, but definitely a 2 bedroom. And their bedroom, their sizing is going to be different, right? But the size of your home is going to be a little different. But you can definitely get you a decent property for that price. And again, if you're looking outside of Paris, you're going to get way more, like way more space, all of that. So it just depends on where you're looking. Now, if you're looking in a tourist area or you're looking right outside of like museums or Champs Elysees, you're gonna pay. It's probably like the most expensive areas of Paris. You're gonna pay like 7 to 10,000 a month. But again, those are not. That's not normal. That's not typical. That is probably on the upper end. So, Des, hoping to find a nice retirement community, apartments outside of Paris. Now, I don't, you know what, that you mentioned that last week. I don't know if they label it as such, in terms of as quote unquote retirement communities. I've not seen that advertising. I've not seen it. I don't know if it's just like if that's a US thing. Honestly, I think it may be because we talk about retirement communities, senior living, assisted living. I haven't seen any of that here. Like I don't know I don't know what people of a certain age range are doing. I see older people all the time and they are kind of struggling to make it here. So I don't know if there are communities set up for them. I just don't know. I need to look into that because I think maybe that's where the whole capitalism stuff kind of comes in, because, we know that in the US, folks are paying a lot of money to live in those assisted living, four and five, six, seven, $8,000 a month. Yeah, I think it's an American thing. I honestly do. In my travels, there's no senior living. Yeah, I didn't think it was, because I know I have not seen it marketed that way. What I'm thinking, and I could be incorrect, but it seems like, I know where the area where I live, there are a lot of older people. And so I just see them mingling with everybody else. I don't see them in these exclusive communities. I'm assuming their children check on them. There are a lot of properties here that are empty and abandoned, actually. So I'm assuming perhaps maybe the parent maybe got old, or maybe it was an inheritance type of a thing, a state thing. But yeah, I don't think that that concept doesn't quite exist here. I do think they have like nursing homes. I do want to say they have that here. But a senior living community doesn't quite exist. Oh, when you Google it, you see retirement housing and care homes. I think when you Google it, though, that may be based on like American search engine optimization, if that makes sense, because you're Googling it from the US. But I need to check into it, but I don't know. You're Googling it from there, but I know I haven't seen any advertisement in my travels is saying most elders live on their own or their families take care of them. Yeah, that's kind of what I see. I know in my neighborhood I see a lot of people taking kind of like your live-in, we would call it, like, what would we call it back home? Like live-in assistant, or like, not like CNA, but like people who come in, your mom or your dad is older, they check on them, make sure they took their medicine. That exists here. So I see older people with caretakers. That definitely exists. So I think that their goal is to kind of keep them in their home, perhaps as long as possible. So yeah, in any case, they would not have foreign seniors living in those communities. Yeah, that's the thing. You wouldn't be That's going to be the thing, because they're going to, especially like Europe, they're very much like, this is for us, and you need to make your own accommodations and your own housing arrangements. So, yeah, listen, you can Dad, still look into it. Still, you still look into it. Still look into. There are certain areas that are going to be more friendlier for seniors or elderly or whatever. There's some areas that it's like it's all young folks. I get it. So just get you, yeah, girl, a nice little apartment in a quiet area. You're good. That's all you need. That's all you need. That's all. Now you may not want to be in the popping part of Paris, right? Where you got the bars and the restaurants and all that, unless that's what you want to do. Okay. But yeah, find you a nice quiet community. You'll be fine. You will be more than okay. Yeah, plan B. That's the thing. Having a plan B is important. And so yeah, just there are definitely, again, looking at, so I know that I know they do not, I'm not sure if they categorize communities by age. I know they do not do them by race. So I don't know if age is a part of that, but it really depends on where you are. Like I said, here in the community that I'm in, there are plenty of older people. It's a lot less younger people. It just depends on what, every neighborhood is going to be different. In my travels, yeah, it's not handicap friendly at all. I was walking one day, and this lady, like, this is the differences in the US, because I feel like some of the things that fly here would not fly back home. And so a lot of it is because of, America being such a lawyer friendly society. I get it. But like the sidewalk was cracked up. And this lady, like, she just tripped. She wasn't paying attention. And I can be the same way. She fell. She took a tumble right in front of me. That type of thing, it's like when you look at it, the sidewalk is all messed up. It'll be like just stuff that I know would not happen back home. So you do got to be careful. It is not handicap friendly. I don't know how older people are getting around. For me, it's kind of one of those things of where I definitely think about it. Like, okay, in 20 years, what is my mobility going to look like? Making sure that my mobility is good, right? Because it is not easy to get around. You go to these metros, the escalators don't work. They don't care if the escalators don't work. I went to the movie theater. Okay. I went dancing the other night for 2 nights last week. The movie theater, which normally has a public bathroom on the first floor, toilet's not working. So it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, you have 4 toilets here. None of them, I mean, you have 2 bathrooms with 5 to 6 toilets each. Public bathrooms, they don't work. Just was a sign on the door like the toilet is closed. So what are you supposed to do? I mean, I don't know. But yeah, they are it's different. It is different. But Des, you'll be able, you're saying you want to find a place away from the touristy stuff and crowds, and you're a park where you can walk a little dog. Listen, it's nothing but parks here. You totally can find that. You can find what you're looking for right outside of Paris. I mean, you can be like a subway or two or a stop away from the city. You'll be able to save a lot of money. You'll be able to get a huge place. You'll be able to find that park and that green space. It's totally doable. Totally doable. So, yeah. But again, I'm thinking about like, okay, so what does my future look like if it's here, if it's in Europe? Because Europe overall is not that handicap friendly. Like the parts that I'm looking, like Portugal, for example, those hills there, it's not handicap friendly at all. If you have any issues walking, and I felt so bad yesterday, I saw two black American women, and they were talking, so I knew they were Black American. And like one lady had the what's like the rolling push thing, and she was trying to get that through the subway, like the subway turnstile. And it just goes to, again, things are not set up for handicap friendly. It's the one reason why I feel like if I were to have mobility issues, I think a car would be something that I would have to do. Have to. But yeah, Paris is a walkable city. They are expecting you to keep walking. I don't know the older people here. I just wonder how they're handling it. I see them and I'm just like, man, I saw a man crossing the street and he was barely making it. And like someone helped him. He was a ways from me, but someone helped him to he was going so slow. And so I always like, well, I always just wonder, like, because I'm like, maybe, hopefully, I'll be blessed to be old one day. So, what does my life look like, right? Like, I always worry about stuff like that. I don't care where I am. I mean, I see these older people, whether it's in the U.S. or here, and I'm always like, dang, like, why are you out by yourself? Like, you need to have somebody with you. But I see people just stooped over, barely making it, and I worry about them. Um, yes, well, Des, if you a New Yorker, you used to it. You listen, this will not be a struggle for you. If you use a New Yorker, yeah, this will be, yeah, y'all walk a lot, and the trains I've heard are better. One of the friend I met yesterday, she spent time in New York, and she was saying how the trains in New York are just trash, and the trains in Paris are much better and all that. So you won't have any problems. You're used to walking. I know for me, I came from a car city, so I went from Detroit to Atlanta. So I'm used to driving. Okay, I'm used to being stuck in traffic. That's my normal. So for me, it was an adjustment, but girl, you'll be fine. You will be so fine. This will be like a walk in the park for you. Because it will be much like what you're used to. The subway system here is more efficient. You've got subway, you've got the train, you've got the high speed rail, you've got buses. They're gonna get you around in and out in the city and around the like periphery. So you'll be fine. Suburbs, they listen, transportation is not going to be a problem, not in Paris itself. Now, if you move somewhere else in France, that's different. Totally different because they have transportation issues and you need a car. For me, I'm not interested in those areas at all. So, but yeah, you will be fine. No problem at all. So, Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Any other move abroad questions? Questions about dating? Questions about my life here in France? Questions about moving abroad? What else y'all want to know? Um, okay, so you were there for a few days in 2021, Des. Yeah. The trains will get you wherever you need to go. Like it's criminal when you think about it because I can literally get on a train. I can go to Amsterdam. I can go to Germany. I can go to Luxembourg. I can go to the UK. I can go to, to London. I can go to all these places in a matter of a couple of hours. And when you look at the train systems in America and you look at, I can't get from the train from Atlanta to Savannah, Georgia. That's just within the state. You can get to whole different countries here by train. So it is totally different. And the train is how how you get around. When you think about it, I have a friend and she's in the UK and she's like, she hates getting on a plane. She'll do it, she has to, but she would rather take a train if she can. And I get it because the time you get to the airport, you got to get there 3 hours early, 4 hours early for an international, flight. You got to wait. You could have taken the train and been wherever you want to go for the most part. So I get it. Eleanor, hey, if you're planning to visit or relocate, start walking. Yeah. The stairs, listen, the stairs get me at times too. Yeah, listen, I need to get in somebody's gym because I'm telling you, the stairs still get me. And I walk a good bit every day, but I need to do some strength training for real because the stairs are no joke. No joke. Yes, Sonia, you had to get in shape to prepare to live in Europe. It is so different when you consider how sedentary our lifestyles are in the US. We just drive everywhere. We get in the car and drive. That's just what we do. Des, first time in Paris in 2005. Oh, you got the Eurostar from London. Yes. 2 hours, is it what, 2 hours and 15 minutes, Des? You are in Paris. You can go from what is it, St. Pancras? That St. Is it Pancras or Pancreas or whatever station in London from Paris to London? Ooh, the stairs in my travels. Yeah. Ooh, those stairs. Mm-mm. Oh boy. I need to build up to that. Okay. I need to, like I said, I gotta join the gym because I need to get my muscle training together for those stairs because that's a lot. Walking is one thing. Stairs is something else. Okay. So yeah, it can be quite a bit much. Quite a bit much, but I feel like my health has gotten better. That's my free gym. Listen, that's gonna have to listen. I'll have the bottom part will be good. I need to do some of the dumbbells and all of that, the lifting, a little bit of that. My doctor told me, and I know what I got to do. I just have to do it. And I used to be really much better shape. And my doctor was like, you got to prepare yourself for your next coming decades. You need to, more fiber, less protein, more protein, more fiber, more vegetables. Stop eating all the sweets, which is hard for me. The croissants, the croissants had me in a whole chokehold. That's a whole other story. But she's telling me all the things I know I need to do, right? Like to prepare myself. So I need to definitely get in the gym and get it together a little bit. I dance a lot, which helps, but still, I need to do those strength training exercises. Okay, in my travels, you off the Target half. Listen, shop for me. Okay, listen. I listen. I miss Target. I'm not even gonna lie. I miss Target. I miss Target. Target. We were. That's my boo thing right there. I'm in this group, Black girls who love Target, and I promise you, like we turn everything into something better. I go on Target's website and they have the most horrible website. I mean, that's what I do professionally for a living. And I'm always talking about them because they have horrible models. Their clothes look horrible online. They just look crazy. So in this Black girls group, baby, we style all the stuff. We make everything better. So I'm literally on there going, I want to order this. I want to order that. I'm calling my daughters like, hey, are you going to Target? I need you to look and see. This is sold out online. I need you to go to this store and see if they have it. Target is a whole Oh my goodness. I love it. Miss it. All right, in my travels, talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Thank you. Um, in my travels, girl, I don't need nothing. The denim jumpsuit that went viral a while ago, like I just wanted one of those, and every day they're posting stuff, and I just see all the cute stuff. They got some cute clothes. That's all. I don't need nothing. I don't need anything. Des Monoprix. It did, yeah. Monoprix is like Target a little bit, but their clothing is not. Their clothing is, ugh. I don't know what's going on with them. In my travels, yes, horrible UX, horrible. I'm like, who does y'all stuff? Because just horrible, and it's a bad shopping experience. It's really bad because their aesthetic is so, stylish and modern and clean, and their website is just crazy. Des, oh no, yeah, oh, check into it. Check into it. About the retirement communities just to verify. But from what I've seen and what in my travels, and she's been here, been in Europe extensively. You know, she, yeah, it is. Retirement communities are just thought of differently. The U.S. everything is thought of from revenue. And so here, again, older folks live with their family, usually longer. So their families take care of them. So it's just a bit different. So, but I think that, you won't have a problem here. You'll find your perfect spot outside of Paris. You will have a walkable community. You'll have the park area for your doggy. There is so much green space here. It will be perfect for you. It really will. It'll be perfect. So, in my travels, thank you. Yeah, I so miss Target. I honestly do. That's the one store because I mean, it's H&M here, right? It is, what other stores are here? Like all the French stuff is here. The French things are here. But the French style, but it's nothing like Target. Nothing like Target. Uh, Des, I know you're gonna make it happen. Listen, make it happen. Make it happen. You looking for in my travels, looking at a certain region in France for retirement. Okay. Okay, okay. Des, I like the store called CNA. Have I heard of that store before? I don't know if I've heard of that one. I have to check that out. I gotta check that out. I know for me, I do a lot of vintage shopping here. So I do a lot of thrifting. So I like unusual stuff. So I do a lot of thrifting. They're really good for thrifting here. In my travels before I move abroad again in the fall, we'll have all of your products. Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you. I definitely have enjoyed the conversation, y'all. It's getting late. I am going. If y'all don't have any more questions, I'm gonna cut it off here. Let me know real quick if you have any other questions you want to talk about. Oh, in my travels, my target in France is La Pharmacie. Listen, oh, that's a whole other conversation. The pharmacy. Like, y'all, you have to experience these pharmacies here. Like, they are all the cosmetics, all the skincare, all the moisturizers and lotions and potions, and it is not like going to CVS or Rite Aid or whatever your local pharmacy is. Okay, it is all the things. There is nothing like going to these pharmacies and finding all your skincare products. I did a video, and it wasn't even the best video. I was in there trying to, like, one of the biggest pharmacies, and I was trying to do it on a sneak because as soon as you go in, there's all these people are everywhere. People are everywhere, and their employees are everywhere. Security is everywhere, and so I'm trying to do the video like just discreetly, and yeah, the pharmacies here are amazing. If you love French skincare products, you cannot beat a French pharmacy. Like, all the stuff. Listen, all the stuff. I need to do a skincare regimen video. For me, I don't use a lot of stuff. My skin is really sensitive, and I use about three things. I don't veer from that. So even though I'm in the land of all these beautiful skincare products and all this stuff. I don't experiment. So I use two things. So I'm gonna do I guess a skincare regimen routine video, but it will not be any skincare products from France. The one thing I do use is I do use a French sunscreen. I do use that. And I just started using sunscreen in the past year. So, yeah, that's the only thing I use that works well with my skin. I don't want to try anything else for me and my skin. But the girlies on TikTok and Instagram, they're all into the French skincare products. If you are into skincare and all the retinols and all that stuff, this is the place for you. Like, this is the place. Des, yes, merci beaucoup. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy your week coming up. We'll do this again on Sunday, next Sunday, same time, same place, right? Join me again. Pitch again. If any of you want more direct advice, consulting services about moving abroad, you need help, click on the link in the description of this video and schedule a time with me, a paid consultation. I'll walk you through your move abroad process in terms of where you are, helping you map out a plan to actually make that move abroad happen. Click on the link in the video. You guys, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Enjoy your Sunday. Have a good one, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.